G'day guys, and welcome to my installation video for Perfect Vision Lite. So I just wanted to start by saying the main reason for this mod list with just 100 mods was to try and get the biggest visual improvement into the game with just 100 mods. I realised that my full Perfect Vision mod list with 300 mods is probably a little bit much for a lot of people to be able to run. It can be quite demanding as well. So I wanted to create something that most people should be able to run. In saying that though, it can get a little bit performance intensive because I've actually downloaded all 4K textures, and most of the mods in this list are actual texture replacers, so they can get a little bit demanding. So you know, if you don't have the strongest system or a NASA computer, just bear that in mind. You could possibly choose 2K textures for a lot of those texture mods, and a lot of those mods also offer 1K textures, so that could be an option too. And I'm also running a full EMB, Semi-Realis EMB by Fireman AF, and that is the full version, so that can be quite intensive as well. You can lose up to 15 frames roughly, depending on your system of course. And there is a performance version of Semi-Realis EMB, so keep that in mind as well. If you need some frames back, you could always try the performance version of that. And I also tried to keep it fairly simple to install. I realised too my full mod list got a little bit complicated at times with regards to people having to use Body Slide and Outfit Studio, for example, that maybe hadn't used that before. And also the DynDOLOD 3D Ultra Trees. I realise that that can be a little bit daunting for a few people, especially if you haven't tried DynDOLOD before. So I wanted to just leave those out of this list, just to keep it a little bit more simple and easier to install. And in saying that, I couldn't get rid of DynDOLOD completely. I just couldn't get the LODs, especially the tree LODs, looking nice. I just wasn't happy with it, so in the end I did go with DynDOLOD, but it's just standard tree LODs and landscape LODs and all that. Nothing too fancy, so no ultra trees for this one. So it's a lot easier to use, and I will be covering the installation and the running of DynDOLOD at the end of this video, so stand by for that one. And a lot of these mods in the list are actual texture mods or texture replacers, so they are quite simple to install. There's usually only a couple of options, maybe between 4K and 2K files, and occasionally 1K. So it's really just a matter of making that decision and then grabbing the file that you want. So I'll be breezing over those mods fairly quickly. But I will spend a little bit more time on the more complicated mods where you have quite a few choices and options like during the install, and I'll go through those and I'll let you guys know all the options I chose. So I think I've talked enough, let's get into it. Okay, so first up, just here in the orange, it's mentioned that the order of the mods is actually the order of install as well. So we'll just go through them from 1 to 100. So you install in that order, and then you run loot, which will actually sort your plugins, and that becomes your load order. Written in blue here, any of the mods that you find in the list which are in blue, just means that there's different versions of that mod dependent on your Skyrim SE version and also SE 64 version. So I've actually finally updated my Skyrim to the current version 1.5.97, which means I have SE 64 2.0.17. I just find if you keep it updated, then when you're getting all these mods, you always just grab the latest file, and you can't go wrong. Alright, I've got a link here to loot if you don't have it, and I've also got a link here to SE 64. I'm assuming you guys are going to know how to install SE. If not, when you download the files, I'm pretty sure there's a README file which explains where to put the files. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Okay, so part 1, patches and fixes. First up, the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch. We'll just have a quick look at that one. As I mentioned before, we're going to breeze through some of these pretty quickly because they're pretty standard. This one, for example, there's only one file, so obviously download and install that as you would any normal mod. Blacksmith Forge Waterfix SE, and we want the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch version of that. So just make sure you grab the right one there. Okay, so it's not the first file, it is actually the second file. That's for the unofficial patch. So yeah, grab the second file there. Alright, SSE engine fixes, part 1, and there's also a part 2 to this. We can install part 1 normally like any other mod, but we do have to install part 2 manually, so we'll have a quick look at that. Okay, so part 1 is the first file, so you can just download and install that as per any normal mod. And then part 2 here, it's a manual download, and I've already downloaded that one. And it is right there, and it's going to look like that. It's got D3DX9 file, it's got a TBB DLL file, and a TBB MALLOC file as well. So basically what you need to do is drop those into the folder where your Skyrim SE is installed. If you guys have done any sort of modding before, then you really should know where your Skyrim SE is installed. In my case, I have the Steam version, so it's going to be in Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Skyrim Special Edition, and when you open that up, you should see Skyrim SE.exe and also the Skyrim SE Launcher.exe. If you see those two, then you know you're in the right area. So all you have to do is basically drag those straight across, drop them in, and as you can see I've already got them there, so I'll just replace the files in the destination. And that is part 2 of the engine fixes installed. Next one, EMB Helper SE, have a quick look at that. So because it was in blue, that means it's game specific. So the first file is for the current SSE version 1.5.97, which I'm on, so I'd grab that one. If you're running an older version like 1.5.80, which is what I was on last time, then you'd be grabbing the second file in optional files. And then as you go down further, the older files are for older versions of Skyrim. But as I mentioned, if you keep your Skyrim up to date, then you'll be grabbing the first file there. File access interface for Skyrim SE scripts. The only reason this one is on the list is because it was required by one of the other mods I have in the list as well. So we don't need to worry about what versions of everything we're running anymore for this particular mod, so you can just download that first file. In the past it was quite specific to the SKSE version that you had, but he's taken the checking out of it now, so yeah, that first file should work for all versions hopefully. So just download and install that one as per normal. Alright, Papyrus Util, have a quick look at that. And again, version specific. So current versions of Skyrim and SKSE, just grab the first file. If not, you'll have to work your way through the older files and work out which file you need there. And just install that as per any normal mod as well. SMIM, Static Mesh Improvement Mod. And nice and simple, just one file. So you just want the latest one there, 2-08, and install as per any other mod. And also the SMIM windmills are resized. I just find this quite necessary. I just feel the windmills are way too small otherwise, and just a normal download and install there as well. No spinning death animation. we just want the first file there for that, and just a standard install. Weapons, armor, clothing, and clutter fixes. So I just grabbed the first file here. It says includes up to 2K diffuse textures and normals. There are some other options here for bigger files or smaller files. So yeah, if you're running into performance issues down the track, you could always come back and try the 2K/1K textures. You can just see with the file size, it's basically half the size of the all 2K textures. So yeah, that might give you some performance back. But if you've got a beast system, you can go all 4K textures here, or a combination of 4K and 2K. But yeah, I just grabbed the main file for that one and just a standard install. Ruins Clutter Improved SE. And just the first file required there. Again, a standard install. And Skyrim Particle Patch for EMB. Okay, this one isn't actually on the Nexus, so we'll have a look at that. Okay, it'll bring you to this page. So you just got to cycle down to Special Edition over here on the left, and all-in-one installation. So you just tap on Google Drive. And then over on the right hand side here, you'll see the little down arrow. Click that to download. And you get a little warning that Google Drive can't scan the file for viruses because it's too large, 28 meg. That's fine, just download anyway. And I've actually already got that, so we'll just have a quick look at that one. Okay, so once you download that, it is basically just a data folder, and then inside that is all the good things, the meshes, textures, and an ESP. So, all you need to do is install that zip file as a normal mod installation. Nothing special about the installation at all. Now, it just comes from a different place, not on the Nexus. Alright, that's part 1 done. So part 2 is just all the mods changing up the HUD. So the first one, obviously very popular, Sky UI 5.2. Pretty sure there's only the one version there, 5.2. There it is there, so yep, grab that first file. Okay, there's a 5.1 version, that's an older file. So grab the 5.2 in main files and a normal install. Next one is Immersive HUD, or iHUD. And you just want the first file there out of main files. A matter of time, a HUD clock widget. Once you actually have all these HUD mods installed, you can actually get the HUD looking like you see in my videos. It takes a little bit of work, and you have to do a little bit of reading to work out how to change stuff around and move stuff about. But it is worth the effort. It takes a little while, but I think the results are well worth it. And you might not quite like the look of how I've got mine set up. You can definitely change that around, move everything about, change the opacity, all sorts of things. So I'll let you guys have a play around with that. But you just need the first file here, version 3-0-0 alpha 4. And all of these are just standard installs. Less intrusive HUD 2 for SE. So we want the main file here, and we also want the optional files, the less intrusive HUD 2, Fizzes patch, because we do have Fizzes as well. So we definitely want to grab both of those, and you'll see there's the link there. That's the same page. And then last one for the HUDs is customizable UI replacer less intrusive HUD SE. Okay, so you want just the main file. We don't have SkyHUD running, so just the main file there, and just a standard download and install. Alright, that's it for part 2. Wow, we are flying. So I called part 3 immersive mods. I didn't really have a good name for them. These are basically mods which either have immersive in the name or they actually add something to the game. They're not just standard texture replacers as such. Yeah, so I'll leave it at that. Anyway, so number 19, Equality World Map. I'm sure you guys all know about that one. I always grab the Vivid with stone roads. But as you know, you can get a paper map. There's quite a few different options, so really you can choose whatever you like the best. Yeah, the Vivid with stone roads way down here is the one I always go for. And I mean, if you like, you can also go the clear map skies, which just removes the clouds over the center of the map, so it clears it up a bit and makes it a little bit easier to see. I normally have that, but obviously trying to make a mod list with just 100 mods, I had to chop quite a lot off the list, so that was one of them that went, unfortunately. JK Skyrim, very popular. I'm sure you guys all know about this one, and especially with a small mod list like this, this is perfect because it changes so much and does it well. And it's also a small download, 8.5 meg, that's amazing. So you just want the first one here, JK Skyrim all-in-one. And then we want JK Skyrim Immersive Laundry Replacer. And back on the same page, so that must be a little bit further down. Okay, here it is down here in the miscellaneous files. So Immersive Laundry Replacer, ESP, download and install that one as per normal, because we will be getting Immersive Laundry shortly. 22, Farmhouse Chimneys, as you may or may not know, adds chimneys to the farmhouses of Skyrim, and just adds quite a bit of immersion, I think. And we just want the main file there. And then there's also a patch for JK Skyrim Farmhouse Chimneys. And that's actually found somewhere separate. It's a mod all of its own. And I just grabbed the first file there, just to make those two nice and compatible. 24 Medieval Lands of Skyrim. I love this mod. I love the variety in the lanterns. So we want the main file, obviously, because that is the main mod, which will give you all these awesome lanterns scattered all over Skyrim. Then we also want the Medieval Lands of Skyrim lights off script. So basically, once that's installed and you're in game, you can go into your MCM menu and actually put in the turn on and turn off times for the lanterns, so you can actually have them turned off during the daytime, for example. I think I've got mine set 7 AM to 7 PM off, which is really handy. And we've also got Medieval Lands of Skyrim JK Skyrim patch, so third one down in the miscellaneous files. So you also want that one because we do have JK Skyrim, and that will make it all nice and compatible. And they're all just normal downloads and installs. So that's got the medieval lanterns covered. 27 immersive fallen trees. A standard download and install. Only one file, I do believe. Yep, so grab that one and install it. And next is the immersive laundry, which I mentioned just before. Again, only one main file, so grab that one and install. I hope you guys don't mind me rushing through this. I've got 100 to get through, so I want to try and keep it as short as possible. Immersive weapons. And just the one file. It is quite big though, it's nearly half a gig, 430 meg. But it does add obviously a lot, and well worth it. So just a normal install there. And then we've got immersive weapons patches. Separate mod. So you want the main file here. It's a self-patching installer. So when you install that, it will actually automatically find all the other mods that you have installed, and will select what it needs to patch immersive weapons. So what you can do is actually hold off on and actually installing that one until the end if you like, and then install it and run the patcher, and that way it will pick up anything that it needs to. Alright, next. Immersive armors. Okay, just quickly on this one, I did notice when starting a new game with this 100 mods installed, I did get these crazy cart physics. The cart was bouncing all over the place. That was making the camera jump around all over the place. It was hard to really see anything. It didn't stop the game as such. It was just a really awkward cart ride into getting my head chopped off. So I did a little bit of troubleshooting, and I found with immersive armors actually disabled at the start, the opening sequence was fine. So I'd suggest that you leave immersive armors off the list until after the opening sequence and you've actually made a save. Then you can close the game down, install immersive armors. And also the next one, immersive armors SSE CBBE body slide, but we'll go through those. Install them both after your first save, because you really want these mods in here. They add a ton to the game. Armors obviously, but well worth it. So just leave them not installed until after you get through that opening sequence, and that way it should be nice and smooth and you won't have any issues at all, hopefully. So I'll have a quick look at those. And the main reason for it, it's not an issue with the mod as such, it's just that it's so huge and it adds so much that the MCM, I think, tries to load up all the information, and that's what sort of throws the game engine out of whack a little bit and causes a few issues at the start. So you can see here the file is 1 gig in size, so that gives you an indication of how much immersive armors actually adds. So that's just a normal download and install. And then the next one, the SSE CBBE body slide for immersive armors, separate mod, but basically what this is, somebody's actually gone and converted all of immersive armors to fit the CBBE body, which we're going to be installing later on. And he has done pre-built meshes. If you grab this first file out of main files, he has done pre-built meshes for the slim outfit body. So when we actually install CBBE, we'll choose the slim body. That way the immersive armors will fit all the female bodies perfectly, and we don't actually have to run Body Slide and Outfit Studio and create the armors ourselves, because it's already been done here. So just download and install that one manually as well after your first save. And I hope that made sense. Okay, number 33, Rustic Furniture, SSE SMIM 4K, so there are a few options here. We do have the Static Mesh Improvement mod installed, so we want the SMIM version. And we'll find those, third file down is the 2K, and then the fourth one down is the SMIM 4K. So I think I grabbed the last file there, but I mean, if performance is going to be an issue for you, grab the 2K. That's definitely big enough, and you're not really going to notice much difference, I wouldn't think, between the 2K and the 4K. Rustic Clothing SE 2K. Just curious if this came in 4K or not. Yes, it does. So I've actually just gone the 2K version. I can see why. So the 4K version of this is 2.1 gigabytes, so that's huge. Obviously I thought that file was just way too big, so I've just gone the first file here, Special Edition 2K, Rustic Clothing, normal install. Okay, enhanced blood textures, very popular. I'm sure you guys all know about this one. Pretty much a must-have, really. And it actually comes with a light version now. I haven't actually tried that. If you want to try that, you can. I just went with the main files and just choose pretty much whatever suits your fancy with regards to like blood drop size and colours, all of that. Just choose, whatever you like. It doesn't really affect anything too much. And that was it for part 3. Part 4, character / NPCs. Okay, so number 36, race menu, special edition. You really do want to grab this one just so you can jump into the race menu anytime in game, through the console of course, and change up your character. I find I do that quite a lot, so very handy. So you just want to grab the first main file there, that's all you really need, and just a normal install. Bingin NPCs SE just changes up the look of a few of the females running around Skyrim, makes them look a crap ton better. So just the main file there. We're not going to worry about all the other stuff in this mod list, we just don't have the room unfortunately. Normal install. Next one is CBBE, Calente's Beautiful Bodies Enhancer. I'm sure you guys all know about this one. So the only thing you need to be aware of here is when you install, first of all files, you just want to grab the main file here. When you install it, you have to make sure that you choose the slim body, and the reason for that I've already mentioned, which was the immersive armors. We've got the immersive armors SSE CBBE body slide. They're pre-built files for the slim body in that mod, so with that mod installed, all the immersive armors are fitting a slim body. So if we get the CBBE and choose slim body when installing it, then everything is going to fit correctly and look good, and we don't have to run body slide, outfit studio and do it all ourselves basically. So it's nice and simple, so just make sure you grab slim body or choose slim body when you install CBBE. Next one, Apache Skyhair female version 1.5 optimized. It was quite hard deciding which hair mod to go with. I haven't used Apache for quite a while now, so I decided to go back to it because it is a really good mod and I like the look of it, so why the hell not. I think the file we need is the second one down. Nope. Third one, so Apache Skyhair female 1.5 optimized. So you can see it's nearly 320 megabytes, pretty decent size. So that's a normal download and install. And Flesh FX, it almost doesn't really go in this section, but it is to do with skin, so that's why it's there. This just improves the effects on the skin tenfold, so you definitely want this one. Main file's just the first one there. Download and install that one as per normal. Alright, here's the big one, part 5, texture overhauls and replaces. It is the majority of the mod list right here really, and I'm not going to go through every one of these. These are all standard installs. The only decision you guys have to make is the size of the file you choose, whether it be 4K, 2K and occasionally maybe 1K. It's completely up to you. Just be aware that if you go all 4K everything, it can get a little demanding on your system. I've made a comment about that on my last video actually in comments if you want to read that. But one thing we do need to think about is this first one here, Embers HD. So there is only one file to download here for Embers HD, the first one there, but when you install it there's quite a few options, and what I'll do is just reinstall it now quickly and we'll go through the options. Actually that's not what I want to do, sorry. Desktop Embers, where is it? That one there, Embers HD. Alright, so I've tried the orange cast before. I don't really like the look of it, but if you like your fires and embers looking quite orange, then obviously choose that one. I just went the standard Embers HD 2K. And I also went Fireplaces add-on plus custom fire effects. I think that looks the best, just personal preference though. I also went Forges add-on plus the Lava Crater add-on, because why the hell not? And we don't need any of those patches, so that was just install from there. I won't do it because I've already got it installed, so we'll just cancel that one. But what you need to remember is when we come to downloading ENB Lite, which is right here at number 81, it will actually ask a couple of questions on Embers HD, so you need to actually remember what you chose when you installed. So just thought I'd make a note of that. Okay, lockpicking interface, that's just a standard download and install, I do believe. I'll just quickly check it. There could be more than one file, but no, there's not. So yeah, grab that one and install it as per normal. Rudy HQ high quality Hey SE version. I went version 3. There's a few different versions here, 3 of them. Just choose whichever one you like the look of the most. I actually did a video on the 3 different versions, so feel free to watch that one if you like. It's in videos here. Second one here, there it is right there, so I compare all 3 versions. And version 3 is my favourite, so that's the one I went with, but as I said, grab whichever one you like, normal install. And then there's also Rudy HQ Miscellaneous SE Pottery Classic Brown 2K, or your fave. So again, there's different coloured pots. I like the Classic Brown 2K, so I went with that one. Just choose whichever one you like the most. Fairly new mod, number 45, Spider Webs and Particles for ENB. Yeah, really nice spider webs here. So grab that one as well. So it's a texture replacer for the spider webs and also the particles. Yeah, really nice effect and really nice mod. Clever Sheriff's photorealistic ash pile. They look incredible. I did actually have a different ash pile texture replacer prior to this coming out, but I just love the look of these. We'll have a quick look at it. Again, quite a new mod. And as you can see, they look pretty cool, and they've got bones and stuff in them as well, which I absolutely love, so that was the version I went, but there's a no bones version if you don't want bones in your ash piles, so yeah, choose whichever one you like, and normal install. Okay, these next 3, quite huge actually. This is like the base texture replacers for this whole setup, so they're really important. A lot of the things in here will get replaced with all the other stuff that we have loading in after it. But I just find that the Skyrim HD textures part 1, 2 and 3 are a really good base to start with, and then you just sort of pick and choose your more detailed textures afterwards. So you want to grab all 3 of those. They're quite big files, some of them are over a gig I do believe, but well worth it. Next one, Skyland, a landscape texture overhaul. Again, standard download and install. Towns and villages, same again. Imperial forts and dungeons, same again. And Skyland Solitude, same again. Okay, next, Rudy HQ Nordic Ruins SE, just a standard texture replacer, grab that one. Standard install. Guards Armor Replacer, that replaces all the guards armor in the different regions, which I really like. It changes them up quite a bit. See Solitude there, Whiterun, Markarth. So yeah, lots of variety. I really like that mod. So just grab the main file there, and just a standard install. I've gone with CC's High Quality Caves 4K version. You can get a 2K version if you wish for that one. Next one, 57 Northern Shores 4K. Absolutely love this mod. It changes all the textures around the shorelines. I love this sand texture you see, this picture here with the rocks. Really realistic, even close up, they look superb. And wow, you can see in the main files here there's an 8K version, it's nearly a gigabyte. I'll leave that one up to you. I went the 4K. which is in optional files here, which is 250 meg, so it's also a 2K version as well for those that mightn't have a really strong system. So yeah, choose whichever one you like there. I'd actually love to see how the 8K looks. I may have to try that one day. 58 water plants updated. Yep, I love those, they look good. 59 MD's farmhouses 4K. Wow, this has been a really tough one, trying to find a decent farmhouse retexture mod, something that changes the rock walls as well, along with the thatchet sort of roof, the ivy, all that sort of stuff. And I have gone with MDs. I tried them all. I checked them all out, had them all loaded up, looked at them one by one, and Mysterious Dawn's textures, I think, for me personally, are the best. I love the look of them. So I went with the 4K. You can get 2K if you wish. Then there's alternate stone floors here if you want a different stone floor, if you don't like the one in the main mod. And there's also an alternate thatch roof, which I haven't tried out, but I love the thatchet roof in the main mod, so no need for me to try that. So just pick whichever one you like there and install it as per normal. 60 is Mysterious Dawn's Mines 4K. Again, these two Mysterious Dawn mods are quite new, and I just love her mine textures as well, so I went the 4K version there. Pelter SE full changes up the pelts in Skyrim, pretty standard there, download and install. 62 Realistic HD Mods Remastered Collection. Okay, so this changes up all sorts of stuff. I think a lot of the fruits and vegetables, baskets, yeah, you can see in the pictures here, all sorts of stuff, all the food and stuff you see on the tables, probably the cutlery and plates and all that. So yeah, it touches on a lot of the things that most of the other mods don't touch on. So really important to have, I think, just to sort of finish off the look, especially with the interiors and stuff like that. So just the one file there, nice and straightforward. Okay, transparent and refracting icicle and frost atronach. Must have for me, this one at 63. I love how it makes the icicles actually look like ice. They look, you know, semi see-through. They refract the light, and yeah, must have. 64 Droga 4K, 65 Giant 4K, 66 Skeleton. All three of those are by the same person. And really good texture replaces. Cajun, that's the one. Yeah, brilliant textures. Makes the Droga, for example, look very menacing, very mean, even close up. I went the 4K. So you can go the 4K and 2K, or just the 1K, whatever you like. So, and yeah, the Giant and Skeleton look just as good. So really nice textures there. Next one, 67 Bellyache's HD Dragon Replacer. Very popular mod, been out forever. It's probably one of the best texture replacers for the dragons, in my opinion. So that was a no-brainer as well. 68 WizKid Signs, fairly new one, this one. I love the textures he's used with the signs, but also they have a wind effect, which is really nice. So you don't have to worry about introducing a wind mod into your game that's then going to affect the signs. These signs are ready to go. They'll react to the wind in Skyrim and add quite a bit of immersion, so yeah, nice mod that. 69 2K Imperial Tents retexture. Sorry, I'm having trouble talking right now. That's self-explanatory and really nice mod. 70 Nordic Tent Upgrade by Fuchsia. Again, very nice texture replacer, so the tents are covered there. 71 Iron Things SE. That pretty much makes all the iron weapons, and I think possibly armor as well, look a little better. Makes them look a little bit more like iron, actually. So must have. 72 Fluffy Snow 2K. There's a few options for the snow textures. I just find Fluffy Snow tends to blend the best with pretty much everything else, if that makes sense. We're going to be installing some road texture mods later on, and I find that Fluffy Snow just seems to work best with everything, and I went the 2K because obviously there's a lot of snow in Skyrim. You see it a lot, you're running across it all the time. so I wanted pretty good resolution on the snow, because quite often you can see it pretty close up as well. So I'd suggest 2K, but again, if your system's going to struggle, maybe go 1K. It's still going to look good. Blended roads, that was the one. It's not actually a texture replacer, it changes the meshes, so I find that fluffy snow suits the blended roads pretty well. And when I install that, I always choose the really blended roads option. I think that is the best. So you just want the main file here, final. I have tried the medieval bridges before, they look good, but yeah, I just didn't have the room. 100 mods, I just didn't have the room. I'm sure you guys understand. Okay, next one, Fluffy Snow, a blended roads patch. Okay, there is a patch for those two, which is there, get that one. 75, Fluffy Snow, Windhelm Bridge and Street Fix. I do believe that's on, yeah, the Fluffy Snow page as well, must be in probably optional files. This one just fixes up. Okay, there's the blended roads patch. And down the bottom here is the Windhelm Bridge and Street Fix. So that just fixes up the textures on that bridge and also the street leading into Windhelm. Makes them look a lot more tidy. So you sort of really do need that. Next one, Better Dynamic Snow SE. I'm sure you guys all know about this one as well. Very popular mod. Basically, it does this. This is actually the Fluffy Snow texture, so he's used it in this example in this picture. It actually puts that over the top of all these surfaces that are normally just painted white in the game, so it makes everything look a hell of a lot better. So you sort of need that one as well. For the ice texture, at 77 I went just ice 4K. That is my favourite. I've tested them all. I've looked at them all numerous times. It's always been another really hard decision of mine, but I've always settled on just ice. I go 4K version. You can see there's a 2K hybrid version, 2K or 1K, so perfect for any system really. And I do believe they look the best close up and far away, so just ice 4K. 78, Dave's Ultra HD Majestic Mountains 4K. Okay, this is a big one because this is changing up the entire look of the mountains, which take up a lot of Skyrim, obviously. Again, I've tried all the mountain textures. They all have their positives and negatives, I believe. I just feel that this one is probably the most rounded with regards to how things look close up, how they look far away, performance, etc, etc, how they look with snow on them. And if you want to go really crazy, you can have the Ultra Fabulous High Definition Majestic Mountains 8K. That's 1.8 gig, so it's a pretty big file. I find 8K is probably a little unnecessary. I have actually tried it though, close up it looks amazing. So perfect if you're doing a bit of screen archery. But the 4K version is down in optional files, and there's also a 2K version as well. So what you want is this one down here. Dave's, hang on, that's 16K. Oh, that's getting really crazy. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Okay, this one here. Dave's Ultra HD Majestic Mountains 4K. So you grab that one, and also Dave's Ultra HD Moss 4K. So you want the moss to go with the mountains. So you want both of those. And like I said, you can go the 2K if you like. You can go the 16K if you've got a insanely good computer. Okay, that was it for the texture replacer mods. So yeah, I flew through that pretty quick, but like I say, most of them are just basic download and installs. So part 6 is lighting, weather, grass and trees. Pretty much everything else. Everything we haven't covered. So, first one, enhanced lights and FX. So you want the main mod, it says here plus enhancer. That's actually an option, I think, when you're installing the main mod. So there is only the one file here. So download that and install. And just remember to only choose the enhancer. You don't want the weather or anything relating to exteriors, okay? So you just want the main part of the mod, which will be ticked automatically, I think, and then choose enhancer when you install. That's it. Okay, EMB light. Have a quick look at this one. So this is where we've got to remember our choices back in the Embers HD mod, because this will actually ask for our options that we chose back there. So you just want the main file here, EMB Lite, and what we're going to do is just quickly run through the install process. I do believe I have this on a desktop. Yep, EMB Lite. Okay, we'll just go for a quick reinstall of that. EMB Lite, there it is. Okay, so you guys probably can't see that. Hopefully that's a little bit better. So I went full install, and then additional options, I went everything that is there. Then I went no EMB Lite Dawnbreaker, because I don't have any mods changing the Dawnbreaker Lite. And again, the same with the left hand, no Dawnbreaker DSR option. Next. Patches, we don't have smoking torches and candles or torches cast lights, so none. Next. Okay, here's the Embers HD section. So we went Embers HD 2K. Now just remember, if you chose the orange option, then make sure you click the orange option there. We went the HD fireplaces plus custom fire effects, so tick that one. And then we don't have to worry about this because we don't have the smoking torches or any of those other mods that were in the previous page. So just no patch for there. And then it's install, which I won't do right now because I already have it already installed, ready to go. Okay, next one, Wonders of Weather. That's pretty standard, I do believe. Maybe just one file. Yep. Download and install. And you can set that up in the MCM menu once you're in game. You can pick the percentage chance of getting rainbows, for example, after rain, I think it is, or something like that, and the amount of shooting stars that you're going to see, etc, etc. So yeah, really nice mod. Lightning during storms, SSE. So this used to be the old Minty lighting for Aldrin, now called Lightning During Storms. So basically the same mod, so download and install that one as per normal. And again, you can set that up in the MCM menu once you're in game. Northern Realistic Clouds, I only stumbled across this a few weeks back and really impressed with these cloud textures. They actually look pretty insane. So yeah, I've stuck that one into this list, so you just want the main file there. Okay, here's a big one, Cathedral Weathers and Seasons. I've stuck with that mainly because that's what was in the original mod list with the 300 mods. I wanted to have a similar look and feel to that mod list because this is just a light version of it, so that's the main reason I've stuck with Cathedral Weathers and Seasons. And I honestly believe it's one of the best weather mods you can get anyway, so I'm more than happy to keep it. So I changed my grass setup because I've also changed my tree setup for this a light mod list. So I've gone with Verdant, and there is also an update file that you need there too. So I sort of cheated a bit here, and even though it's two separate files, I've just included them as one. So you want the main file at the top here, and then you also want the Snowgrass and OC update. So that's got an Open Cities compatibility built into it, but we want it mainly for the Snowgrass update. So yeah, grab the update file as well. So download and install those as per normal. Gone with Realistic Water 2. That doesn't need too much explanation. Probably the most popular water mod there is for Skyrim, and for good reason. 88 JK Skyrim Realistic Water 2 patch. That's actually back on the JK's Skyrim page, and I'm pretty sure I just breezed over that and didn't mention it when we were here last, but it's right down near the bottom here, third one from the bottom. So you want to grab that patch as well, just to keep everything nice and compatible. 89 Darker Distant LOD for EMB. So this just darkens up the landscape textures, or the LOD textures I should say, off in the distance, and I find it helps to match up with the grass that's loaded up in closer. They tend to blend together a lot better. So really important mod actually, and this is highly underrated. I'm not sure if many people know about it, but depending on the obviously the lighting setup that you have, and also the grass mod that you have, this may or may not look better. But I've always found that with my setups, having the darker distant LODs actually always does look better. So you definitely want that if you're running this list. Okay, next one is the DynDOLOD resources. Once we do install DynDOLOD and also the resources SE, this is where we will put it in number 90, but we don't actually want to install it just yet, so we're just going to breeze straight past that one. We can just slot it into there at the end once we go through the DynDOLOD stuff. So just remember that we'll be putting that in 90. And likewise, the text gen output, that's going to be as a result from running text gen within DynDOLOD. Once we've done that, we'll be slotting that in at 91. But for the moment, we can just leave those out and continue on. So 92, Bluebow's trees in Whiterun JK Whiterun version. Okay, so there's 3 files here we actually want. They're all on this one page. I spent ages trying to come up with a nice tree setup for Whiterun. I don't know why, but I hate Whiterun with no trees, just looking bland and empty. I feel that it's, even though it's not, I feel that it's the capital of Skyrim. It's just, the town feels so important to me, and I just think it should be full of trees, I really do. It's personal preference. So yeah, I tried a lot of different mods, and I settled on this one because I think it looks the best. It's got a few different options. It's got LODs, I think, which come with it, so when we run DynDOLOD, it'll pick up on these trees and you'll be able to see them from everywhere, outside of Whiterun, everywhere, which is really important as well. Okay, so you want the main file here. Actually, not that first one, no, sorry. You want the second one. The second one is the JK Whiterun version. We do have JK's Skyrim, which includes Whiterun, so we definitely want just that second file out of the main files. And then we also want the more trees in Whiterun in optional files, and also the trees outside of Whiterun. So we want both the optional files there as well. And just download and install those as per normal. So that's those next 3 taken care of. And then 95, yeah, I just wanted to change it up a bit. I was missing not having any forests in the plains outside of Whiterun. I've been playing with that pretty empty and looking very vanilla-ish for a while now, and I just missed having a forest there. So I've chosen the Alpine Forest of Whiterun Valley, just to fill that with trees basically. So I mean, it's purely up to you if you want to do that or not. I just love the look of it, and I'm glad I did it, and it's in here, so I'll leave that up to you if you want to do that or not. It won't affect anything if you don't. And 96, I've gone with Skyrim Floral Overhaul Trees Only version, so version 2.72a. I'll have a quick look at that. Okay, so these are the main ones up here. So it's the third one down in the main files, Trees Only version, so that's the one you want. And then there's a 2.72d update for the trees only version, so you want to grab that update file as well. So it updates it from 2.72a to 2.72d, so grab that one as well. And there also is also a fern update. This is for all versions. It does fix an issue with a super bright fern, but I haven't found it, I haven't seen it, so I haven't had to use that file. I've got it there ready on my desktop, but all my ferns have looked fine, so I haven't bothered with that. But if you guys see a super bright green fern in your setup, then just remember that that file's there in the options, and oh, sorry, the update files, and yeah, you may need it. So that was number 97, the update. Okay, 98, Green and Lush Aspen Trees, a Rift Forest Overhaul. I only discovered this one quite recently, and probably the thing I didn't like the most about Skyrim Flora overhaul was the aspens and the way they looked. This actually just changes all the aspens and makes them look pretty incredible. Just check out this picture here. Yeah, really nice. Yeah, I'm really happy that I found this one actually. So you want the two main files here. You want the green and lush aspen trees. That gives you the trees, so close up they'll look beautiful. But then we also want the green and lush aspen trees billboards, because when we run DynDOLOD it will find these billboards and create nice distant LODs out of those billboards for these trees, so they'll look good from a distance as well, and that's what we want. Okay, and then 100 is DynDOLOD output. So I guess that means we now have to go through installing, setting up and running DynDOLOD. Okay, so we're on the home stretch now. We just have DynDOLOD left, and I'm just going to run through from start to finish how to download, install and run that. For anyone that hasn't used it before, you really don't need to be scared by this. It's a pretty simple process really, as long as you follow a few basic guidelines and rules, which I'll show you now. You're not going to have any trouble, and it's going to make your Skyrim, in particular the distant LODs, look a hell of a lot better, which just adds an enormous amount of immersion to the game. So you want to go to the link I have there, and it'll bring you to this page. And what we want to do is we want to grab the DynDOLOD standalone. At the moment it's 2.81 beta, and DynDOLOD Resources SE 2.81 also. You've just got to be aware that as these change and get updated, that you don't run, say, a newer version of the resources with an older version of the standalone, which is the actual exe file. So always try to keep those matching, so 2.81 and 2.81 in this example. Everything else, we've ticked all the other boxes. We already have everything else installed that we need. If you've followed my mod list, that is, from start to finish. You see the Papyrus utility over here. That's the reason we have it in the mod list, because of DynDOLOD. And we don't need any vanilla Skyrim LOD billboards listed here. And the reason for that is we have all the LODs required for the trees that we have installed in this list. So this would only be if you're running just a standard vanilla trees setup. Then you would need to get billboards for those trees, so we can skip those. Alright, so you download these two. And no need to log in or anything, we just hit the download button. And you see they're not very big files, so it's going to all happen pretty quickly. And there it is there. I actually already have both of these here, standalone and resources, so we'll just close that down now, and we can actually leave that page as well. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is actually install the standalone. And you want to put it somewhere away from Skyrim, so don't put it in, say, a Steam folder, for example, or definitely don't put it in your Skyrim SE folder where the game's located. That's a big no-no, and you're asking for problems, and you will have problems. So what I like to do is, I have my Steam in the S drive. I like to put it in my hybrid disk drive here. It's just got all sorts of stuff in it. Actually, I've already still got it there. Let's just quickly delete that completely. Okay, so no DynDOLOD there. So what we need to do is open up the standalone, and we'll see we've got a DynDOLOD folder. Just simply drag it to wherever you're going to put it. In my case, the D drive, and drop it in. Okay, so there it is down the bottom there. You see, if you open it up, it's got your DynDOLOD exe file and also TextGen exe, the executables. So we're going to be running both those. Just be aware that there's a x64 version and just a standard version as well. So If you've got a fairly new system and it's x64, then just make sure that you use the x64 executable for both DynDOLOD and TextGen. Okay, we'll close that down for the moment. And as you can see, I use a mod organizer too. You should all be using it. It's the best mod organizer there is, really. But anyway, that's just my personal preference. So you can see I don't have it here anywhere at all. So we want to actually add both the TextGen executable and also the DynDOLOD executable. So title, just call it, we'll do TextGen first. And the binary, excuse me, you've got to remember where you put it. So for me it was a D drive. Oh look, it's already gone straight to it. We'll just go back. So there's the DynDOLOD folder, open that, and here are the executables here. So we're doing TextGen first. I've got a 64 system, so choose that one. And start in, I always just choose the folder prior to where the executable is. So in this case, yeah, it's just the DynDOLOD folder, select folder. So for arguments, because it's Skyrim Special Edition, we just want to put a -SSE, so all lowercase, no spaces, just -SSE, and that will enable DynDOLOD to run correctly for Special Edition, and that goes in the arguments. And we can click use applications icon, why not, and that is it. Click add. So now we should have TextGen there. Yep, there it is. So we might as well do the same for DynDOLOD while we're at it. And binary, back to where we had it installed, which is here, x64 for me. Start in just the DynDOLOD folder, we'll do it. Select, arguments, same again, so no spaces, lowercase, -SSE. And use the applications icon, add. Okay, so we should have both DynDOLOD and TextGen there, which we do have. Excellent. So next step, we want to install the DynDOLOD resources, which is up there. And we just install that like, oops, wrong one, sorry. We just install that like any other mod. So open up your mod organizer. And whereabouts is it? There it is, DynDOLOD Resources SE 2.81. Open. Get a couple of options here. Okay, so we want the core files. They're ticked anyway, can't do much about that. I always tick Whiterun exterior, Solitude exterior, high Hrothgar window glow, and also the DLC2 Vardenfell 3D plume, just because it looks better than a 2D one, basically. Now, here's a performance option if your system is possibly going to struggle with all of this. You can select low-res LOD textures. I've never actually tried those out, but you can try them out if you need to. And miscellaneous here we have desync birds of prey. I always tick that. That just means when there's a group of birds flying around, like in Solitude here, in the little picture, it just means that they're not all going to be flapping their wings at the same time, so it looks a little bit immersive breaking. So yeah, I always tick that on and click install. And I already have this on another profile, so it's going to pick that up and say, hey, you've already got it. So I'm just going to rename it to DynDOLOD Resources SE Lite. You guys don't need to do that unless you've got multiple profiles running and you already have the resources installed on a different profile. So just disregard that last little bit there. Okay, so I need to click unchecked because that's where it's going to be. Here it is down the bottom, DynDOLOD Resources SE Lite, so I tick that one. And then I'll go into my checked, and it should be down the bottom here, which it is. and we just need to drag that up to just underneath darker distant LOD for EMB, and slot that one right there. Okay, so that's got the resources installed. Next we need to run TextGen and create a TextGen output file to install as well. So come over here, click TextGen, run. So you do need to do this from within Mod Organizer. You can't run these programs outside of Mod Organizer because it won't read and won't register all your mods. Alright, so it's just saying select output path, so DynDOLOD, TextGen output, yep, that's perfect. Select LOD texture size, again performance, if you've got a system that's going to struggle, maybe start at 1024 or even less, depending on your system. I'm lucky enough, I just always go 4096 and work with that. So basically you can just select your LOD texture size and then click start, and TextGen will run through your entire list and do its thing. Okay, so as you can see, 18 minutes later, and TextGen completed successfully. So that's the message you want at the bottom, obviously. Okay, so exit that now. And now we just need to install that mod. So we need to go back to where we put DynDOLOD. So for me it was a D drive, DynDOLOD, and we'll see there's a folder here now called TextGen output. So you can open that one, and there'll be just a textures folder. And as you can see, mine is 5.36 gigabytes. That's because I chose the 4096 option at the start when I ran TextGen. So yeah, pretty big. So what I do now is just add to archive, and we'll call it TextGen output. And because I've got this already installed on another profile, I'll have to add a Lite to it. But if you just call it something like TextGen output, that'll be fine. 7-zip, store, okay. Okay, there it is there. So 5.6, wow, it's huge. Alright, so we need to install that one. So we just got to go to it. DynDOLOD, TextGen output, that one there. Okay, it'll be my unchecked files down the bottom, TextGen output Lite, click it, and there it is down the bottom. Okay, so we'll just drag that up and sit it right under DynDOLOD resources, which we installed just before. And you'll see that's actually overriding some of the files out of the resources, which is exactly what we want. And there's only one final step now, and that is to run DynDOLOD itself. So we'll bring that one up there, click run. Okay, there's all the links to read up about DynDOLOD, the manual, quick start, etc, etc. I've read through all that plenty of times in the past, but RTFM, so if you don't know much about it, read everything first, especially if you're having issues, because you'll most likely solve that problem yourself. Okay, so what we want to do is go to the Advanced page. So when you see this little box, just click on Advanced, and that will bring up this slightly bigger box. So for ease of use and time constraints, etc, etc, I'm just going to click Tamriel down the bottom over here. This is the worlds that DynDOLOD is going to create a LOD for. So you can choose everything if you like, but it's going to take a lot longer and the file is going to be a lot bigger. I usually just choose Tamriel simply because I spend usually probably about 98% of my time in Tamriel, Skyrim. Alright, I'll click high, but if you guys have got, you know, maybe not a real beefy system, you might want to start at medium settings. But I go high. So we want to have ticked generate static LOD, create texture atlas, and here we can actually change the tile size. You'll see it's already at 512. That's probably a good place to start. I'll go 2048 just because. So we want generate tree LOD ticked. LOD brightness is the brightness of the tree LODs way off in the distance. Basically the furthest trees you can see, this will change the brightness of them. I've found in the past with this setup, they probably look slightly bright for me at 0. So I go -3. But if you guys want to start at 0 and see how it looks, by all means. And obviously negatives darken the LODs, the tree LODs. We want to tick generate DynDOLOD, leave everything else as it is. You can tick Windows if you like, and the higher setting for Windows, and also a fake lights selected world and fake lights child worlds. I normally tick fake lights child worlds. So for example, if you're looking down upon Whiterun, for example, it will give all of Whiterun like a glow at night. I sort of like that effect, so that's why I normally tick the child world's fake lights. And what you can do too is cycle all the way down in this window here and just look at the trees. So for LOD 4 it's static LOD 4, and then LOD 8 it's billboard, and then LOD 16 also billboard. You just leave all that exactly as it is. And the output path is in the D drive, DynDOLOD folder, DynDOLOD output. So it's going to create that DynDOLOD output folder. And there's also the data path to your Skyrim Special Edition install. So just make sure that is correct as well. Steam Apps Common, Skyrim Special Edition, if you have the Steam version, of course. Okay, so that's everything you need to tick and sort out on that page. So just click OK and DynDOLOD will do its thing. So 22 minutes later and DynDOLOD is finished. So what you want to do is see this little notice down the bottom here, DynDOLOD worlds completed successfully. If you see that, then hopefully everything's good to go. So just click save and exit. Alright, so now we just need to install the DynDOLOD output folder. So we go back into our DynDOLOD and we'll see there's a DynDOLOD output folder here, and inside of that you've got meshes, SKSE, textures, and also the DynDOLOD ESM and ESP. So what I do is just highlight all those, right click, and then 7-zip and add to archive, and we'll call it DynDOLOD output. Actually, as before, I will have to change that and put a light at the end of it. You guys won't have to worry about that. Click OK. And done. So you can see it's 1.4 gig, so quite a bit smaller than the TextGen output. So we just need to install that now. So we go to DynDOLOD output, click the zip file, open, OK. And I'll just go into my unchecked. There it is down the bottom, so click that one. And there it is there. So we'll leave that where it is. We want that right down at the bottom of our mod list always. And you'll see on the right hand side we've got the DynDOLOD ESM and also the ESP. It's only the ESP which we want down the bottom of this list. We want the ESM up with the other ESMs up the top there. So what we'll do is just quickly run loot so it can sort those out. Okay, go on. So it's now up here at number 10, where it should be. Alright, so now we'll just jump into game quickly and check that out.
Skyrim, and we fight all our lives.
So one thing I haven't mentioned yet, when you're either deleting DynDOLOD or installing DynDOLOD, always try and have a save inside, just because obviously DynDOLOD doesn't have any effect on the interiors at all, so it's a little bit safer. And I'll just introduce you to my new character, Lulu. So that is just using CBBE, and I did actually tick all the options for the eyes, brows, I think there was a lips option there as well. I just ticked all of those, and that is the CBBE skinny body. So yeah, no excuses for ugly characters, guys. Alright, so we just want to go into the mod configuration, and you'll see DynDOLOD's not there, so then you exit out and we just need to wait maybe 10-20 seconds. Hello Sven, I can't hear you playing. Oh, because he's just finished, okay. I might have missed the notification there, let me just have another look. Okay, it's there now. So, down to DynDOLOD. Click on that one, go to main, and you'll see everything's set, ready to go. You should have large references fix ticked, but it says DynDOLOD is active, and we can't activate it because we're inside, but it's in the MCM ready to go. So now we can just jump outside. And of course it is foggy as, so we can't see anything. A little message up the top left there, DynDOLOD successfully initialized.
I'm glad to help any way I can.
So you'll find if we go back into our MCM and look at DynDOLOD, it will now be ticked, is active. There you go, so that's how you install DynDOLOD. So what we'll do is just quickly run up here where we can actually see further than 10 feet in front of us. I'll clear the weather up and we'll have a look at the distant LODs quickly. Oh, wow. Okay, I see the problem. Time is absolutely flying by. Just stand by a sec. Not really sure why that was happening. I think I must have had the time scale still set from when I was filming last, and it wasn't set on 20, which is the standard time scale. So it's now 10 PM at night. So what we'll do, let's go 12 hours. And we've got much better weather now too, so we can actually see. Oh wow, that's tempting. I'd like to take a shot on that deer, but I won't. Run a mission here. Oh, almost forgot about these guys. I can see you there. Where's your friend? There he is. Oh, he's coming in for the kill. You almost got me. Just 2 of you, was there? I guess so. So yeah, this is a really new character. I think it was level 5. So I've got not much stamina. I can't run far. Alright, so you can see the... oh my god, what's trying to kill me now? Oh, another wolf. Yeah, dodge that. Alright, so you can see there the distant trees. That's all thanks to DynDOLOD. They're looking pretty exceptional actually, I love them. And also the mountains as well. They're looking pretty damn good. So yeah, DynDOLOD's definitely working, and that's what it does, guys. Improves your game out of sight. So what I'm going to do now is just show you quickly how to uninstall DynDOLOD. And the reasons you may want to do that is if you change over your tree setup, for example. If you change your trees and leave DynDOLOD installed, you're going to have those distant tree lods with your new trees, and it's most likely going to look pretty bad. Or maybe you've added a few mods which change up the towns and cities. When you do something like that, you really want to uninstall DynDOLOD and reinstall it, and it'll have all the correct LODs for the changes that you've made with your mods. So the main thing to know about uninstalling DynDOLOD is to be inside. You've got to be in an interior space to do it safely and correctly. So that's why we're just going to run back to Riverwood.
Riverwood's agreeable enough, I suppose.
And before we go inside, what we have to do is bring up the MCM again and look at DynDOLOD, go back to the main and cycle down to DynDOLOD is active and untick that. So we're basically telling it we want to deactivate DynDOLOD, and you see we've got a DynDOLOD deactivated. Okay, so we've already got the message up saying it's deactivated. Once you've had that message, you can go inside.
Come on in. Let me know if you need anything. Or take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over.
And make a save. And then we can exit out of game. And all we have to do now is uninstall the DynDOLOD output folder or file. So just right click on that and remove mod. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, so that's DynDOLOD gone. You can leave the DynDOLOD resources file there, especially if you're just going to update your DynDOLOD, or maybe you've just changed some trees over or whatever, and you're going to rerun it. So you can leave resources there, and you can also leave your TextGen output there as well. The only time I rerun TextGen is if I've changed up a lot of my texture mods, which I don't do very often anymore. So yeah, I don't often rerun TextGen. But once we've deleted the DynDOLOD output file, we can go back into game. And you just want to make sure that you load up that last save. So if I just continue on, it will do that. And it will give you this little warning that the DynDOLOD ESM and ESP are no longer there. That's fine, that's exactly what you want. Click yes. And here we are back in. So now we just have to make one more save. And that's it, done. DynDOLOD is now completely uninstalled. And that is how you install and uninstall DynDOLOD. And that is also number 100, so that is the end of the mod list, guys. So I hope you found that pretty easy. There's nothing too hard about it. If you are downloading this mod list, I hope you have fun with it. I hope you like the look of it. And just a quick mention to Fireman AF for his Semi-Realis EMB for Cathedral Weathers. That's the one I use in all the videos that you see with this mod list. And I've also got a link here to the latest EMB binaries. So always grab the latest, most recent one. It won't cause you any issues doing that, and you'll have the best binaries that you can. And if you're not sure about how to install an EMB correctly, I've got a little installation guide here, so there's a link to that. And yeah, as I mentioned here, well, installation video, that's the one I'm doing right now. But I'm also going to be doing a merged patch and bashed patch installation guide as well. I'll show you guys how I go